The bedroom lock is controlled through the local network. Get me as clear a Wi-Fi signal as you can, and I'll override it.
You! Friendly cash!
Given my new track record of Payday videos at this point being mostly criticism and saying where I think they should go and what should be done with older content, I might as well talk about some of the things that are actually happening now that the corporate holiday season is over and everyone at Starbreeze is starting to get back to work, showing off with their latest endeavor and shopping spree. For those that haven't been keeping up with Payday 3's narrative, and I don't blame you if you haven't, the gang's been in a scuffle with a minor crime family called the Palatucci's, and almost all of them want to call a truce, except for Pietro, running drugs through the front of a closed-down mall. So you, as the Payday gang, are just going in there and knocking some sense into him and hopefully closing the page on this chapter. Unless the narrative people at Starbreeze want to say that Concord, aka the guy who initially spearheaded the attempted assassination of the Payday gang, remember that, had tried to get assets through the Palatucci's, they need to make this the last heist that has anything to do with the Palatucci storyline. But this could also just as easily be used as a way to display the Payday gang's hubris and pride, letting their biggest catch get away and eventually return stronger than ever while they deal with what they believe to be a minor scuffle. Just some food for thought for the narrative designers. On to the actual heist itself. Of course, the first thing I want to do is take the camera out of bounds to show off the locale. The mall has three main stores that are the primary areas you obtain loot from. Moo and You, the Payday equivalent of a Build-A-Bear workshop, Corvo's weapon store, and the Nobleman Lounge, which is pretty much just a food court. This layout is somewhat randomized between runs by doing something a lot of people have already criticized, which is putting a barrier in front of the hall section to one of these three stores at random, which also bars you from getting things in that area as well, like the security camera room, or a QR code for a specific thing, or most notably, sometimes not even being able to use your favors you brought with you because they spawn on the opposite end of the barricade. Honestly, this is a pretty big oversight and has a reasonable solution in the form of just moving the barricade in front of the actual store itself instead of the main hall section, as well as the doors that would be used to enter the stores from the sides. I can't help but say things like that when I see a very simple solution in front of me, and this one's pretty obvious. The favors do change around the heist a good bit, but I think it also would have been nice to have them as random events that can just happen without the favor at a low chance. I felt the same way about these as I do with delivery charge favors, even though that one has a possible extra transport vehicle anyway that doesn't have a favor, the thought behind it still applies. Anyway, there's more to talk about with this latest update, and that's enemy and weapon balance. To put it in simple terms, enemy armor is scaled much higher than it used to be, with Heavy SWAT now having 7 total armor layers in Overkill difficulty, compared to the 5 armor layers they had before this patch. It also feels like specials spawn together a lot more often, but I'm not entirely sure on that since I've only ever counted 3 dozers at one time in my own time playing, even if they were doing a 3-ton conga line together. Ah well, more uses for Bounty Hunter, I suppose. Speaking of Bounty Hunter, the skill update that was shown all the way back in November to Skills 2.0 is finally out, called Skills 2.1 by the community, as well as fixing the 2-second invincibility being on every armor frame, so now it's only on the 4-plate one as they initially intended, and to say you can feel it now would be an extreme understatement. It doesn't make low armor builds impossible by any means, I still run 2-plate, but it definitely makes it difficult to adjust to if you haven't played the game in a long time and expect everything to still work like it did before, or you were playing the game just last month. Of course, I still think Skills 2.1 needs to eventually become Skills 2.2 because of both missing skills from the old system as well as new things that could be implemented, but I'll elaborate on that more in a future video once I'm done with the Heist Improvement series. Overall, the major point of me making this video specifically is to just talk about the patch and where Starbreeze is taking the game, and also to let you guys know I'm going to keep working on the videos going over the launch heists at this point in a race against the actual developers. But I'm also going to be working on a video talking about general improvements for the game that I think it really could use, as well as just some things that I would like to see overall. So keep an eye out for that in the future. Fortunately, after Under the Surface, I should be able to knock out the improvement videos pretty quickly since I already have a lot of the footage I need, so go ahead and look forward to that. Until next time, I appreciate you for watching, and I hope you take care.